Hiya folks, this is question 8. So we're filling in a table here really. So they give us a function. It's the daily sales of t-shirts over a 360 day period. So it's an awkward enough looking function there really, but we're just going to put in, you can use your calculator on there if you want, or just put in all of the values there. So put in 0 for x first. So do t of 0, so that'd be 0 minus 240, so I'll calculate work anyway, over 60 to the power of 3 plus 70, and then after that put in a 120 instead of x, and then put in 180, and then 240 and 300. So when you do it, you should get 62, 69, 70, 70 again, and then 78. So you've got two of them filled in already. So that's just filling in, putting in or subbing in numbers into the function. Right, we have to draw it on a graph then. So yeah, so 0, 6, so we have to be as neat as possible now. So 0, 6 will be about there. 60, 43 is about here. Then 120, 62. It's about here, probably a little bit lower. 180, 69 is here, just below the 70. 240, 70 and 370, they're both going to be on the line, and then the last one is 360 and 78. So the graph starts coming back down a little bit then. Right, so if you're to draw the curve there then, so I just have to be as neat as possible. Obviously we're going to need this now for more questions later, so right, I could probably have done that a little bit better, but anyway. Right, so part B then, so we move on to a different type of graph. So now it's a trig graph, so it has a cos in it. So basically 21 has to be here, kind of in the middle of the graph. So then this is going to be where the max is, and down here is where the min is. So that's just going to be plus 19 there, and then that's minus 19. So 21 plus 19 is 40. So our max is 40. Then our min has to be 21 minus 19, and that's just going to be 2. So it's going to be 2 down here. And our max up here is 40. Right, so part C then. Yeah, so it's where C of t, so where is S of t and C? Right, so S of t, when is that equal to C of t? Well, C of t is just all of this thing here. So C of t is just all of that. So I'm just putting all of that in. So S of t minus 2 to 4 plus 0.03 t. So if you think about it, you've just got an s of t on both sides, so it's like algebra, you just have 1 on both sides. If you bring 1 over and subtract it, they subtract. So if I bring the minus 2.4 over, then it becomes 2.4 on that side. So that is equal to 0.03 t, and then I just have to bring the 0.03 across. And divide it, and that will give me 80 in the end. So you could go and make things more complicated there, put in yeah, it's kind of just seeing that really at the start. Right, so this one anyway, you can see straight away that it can't be j, because j is a straight line, so that does not look like a straight line graph, so it's not linear, so not j, because it's not a straight line. Well, you can't say it's not a straight line. Yeah, it's not a linear function. So you're left with k and l then. So what you have to see in here is that if I was to put if I was to sub a value in for t, just say I subbed 1 in for t, and then I subbed 2 in for t, and 3 in for t, and 4 in for t, and so on. If I was to keep subbing values in for t, you have to see that it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and high, so it's going to keep getting higher and higher. So if you're to think about this graph k, the value is never really going to go up past those points there. It's just going to come back down and go up again. So that's periodic. So that's when it's basically that in between those red lines, and then it's just done again and then done again and done again. But the graph L basically keeps going into infinity. So yeah, so graph L goes to infinity. So L is the answer. Right then. Right, so part E. Right, so it's telling us that it's a local maximum. So C dash T has to be equal to 0. So I'm just going to let all of that, I'm just going to let that be equal to 0. So we get 0 is equal to 0.03 minus 38 pi over 365 sin of 2 pi t over 365. And we're just going to solve then. So I'm going to bring that 0.03 over to the other side. So minus 0.03 is equal to minus 38 pi over 365 sin of 2 pi t over 365. Then I'm going to bring over all of this, basically this minus 38 pi over 365, and I'm going to divide it in over the other side. So that's just going to, a minus divided by a minus will become a plus. So we're going to get 0.03 times 365 over 38 pi. So I'm flipping it upside down so I can do that. So that's equal to sin of 2 pi t over 365, and then I can bring the sin across and do sin inverse of all of the other side. Right, so when you put that in the calculator then yeah, so we should get 0.0918 is equal to, I'm rounding off there, and then it's just a matter of moving the rest of the stuff over. So we're going to multiply that by 3.65 and divide by 5. That will give us t in the end. And that's 5.33. So it's 5.33. So it's in days. Then if you look back, so give your answer to the nearest day. Yeah, so it's the 5th day. So it's going into the 6th day. Well, it is in the 6th day. So it's during the 6th day. But the 5th, yeah, to the nearest day would be 5 days.